when it comes to black men who support Trump, Ben Carson is second only to Kanye, and the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development stood up for the president in a major way. He fired off an angry letter to Maxine Waters. Carson dragged the 15-term Congresswoman for criticizing Trump about the nation's homelessness problem. Here's just some of the disrespectful letter he sent to Auntie Maxine. It started like a bad version of the dozens when he mentioned mothers. It went something like this, quote, "My mother always taught me that people should not throw rocks, especially while they live in a glass house." And here's the worst part of it, quote, "Basic manners elude you. And it seems that instead of producing results, you're more interested in producing cheap headlines at the president's expense, like a true career politician." So I'll say this, she is a true career politician in the best possible way. She's been in elected office for more than 40 years. And secondly, she did not come for him. She came for the president, but he felt the need to respond. So we all know that Maxine Waters is like the master of the clap back. So if you were her, how would you clap back?
I'm trying. I'm trying to find a witty way to say what I have to say, as opposed to an actual rant as to what I have to say.
I'll take it any way it comes.
I'm just very amused that he has the retort of saying a career politician as someone who is completely unqualified for the position he has, and has actually hired a series of completely unqualified people. There was a report that came out that like half of the people he's hired don't even have bachelor's degrees in any sort of field, much less urban planning, urban development whatsoever, right? So for someone to use that as a bar, whether or not you believe that, the politics of DC needs to be reformed or not, it's like, well, you don't even know what you're doing there. People are suing you, like literally right now, for actual poor allocation of funds. So focus on your own home before you're actually throwing something at somebody else's glass house.
Right.
You also have aspirations of being a politician. What are you talking about? How are you going to use that as a jab when that's something that you failed at? It was a goal of yours that you failed at, but now you're using it as if like that's something that's negative.
Just projecting.
Yeah. But that's
clearly
politics, right? Like politicians, people who run for office like to do the whole, well, I'm an average Joe, not like this career politicians. I just went to Harvard and Yale and, actually did all this work and was doing all this advocacy and then did this elected position and got nominated for this and now I want to run for president. But I'm a regular person, not like everybody else who was in office for 25 years, right? As if that makes you more relatable than the average person. It doesn't make you any more relatable, right? To the average American who's been doing everything else that they do in their lives any other day, right? So it's not a matter of the haves and the have-nots, even though they want to position it as any sort of thing like that. Because anytime he goes to any sort of, urban development, any urban housing, whenever he tries to go to NYCHA and people sit there and protest and say, you don't do anything for NYCHA, which they do because I grew up in colonial houses and anytime he's gone around, believe me, it's a problem. But, it's just, it really flies in the face of anything he claims to argue for.
Right. He might want to stick to surgery.
Exactly.
Preezy, what's your clap back?
Well, he's like the guy Steven in the movie Django. And then, President Trump is, the slave master. Like, it's like a Stockholm syndrome. But basically, I read the letter, and then Maxine Waters, she was just basically being auntie, checking him like, look, Trump, like, we need answers. This is what, like, I want you to do. We need to line up and this and that. Like,
which is her job.
Yeah, that's her job to do.
Yeah,
is
she did
to
what he
seek for
was
these
accusing
answers.
her of not doing. That's the funny part.
Yeah, that's her job. And then for him to go and take, petty barbs, basically, taking the side of the president is just like insane, basically. And just the manner in which he did it, it's crazy.
Well, I want to hear Auntie Maxine's clap back, that's for sure. Well, that's all for today. I want to thank my guests, Bonsu, Shamira, and Preezy for joining us. And thank you for sharing their commentary. I always mess it up at the end. And thank you for watching. I'm Marlie. See you next time.